Hey everyone, it's your host with the most, the one and only, and I wanted to really quickly go over some really exciting news with you all. I've heard you loud and clear. So many of you guys have been DMing me telling me you wanted this video, as you can see. I love all of the support and wanted to give you guys a small token of my appreciation. It's evident these videos are helpful to you guys in making a purchasing decision, and at the same time hopefully a bit entertaining, what with all my lame jokes and whatnot. That is why I will be giving away a brand new iPad Mini 6. That's right, a brand new iPad Mini 6 in your choice of coloring. But the thing is, in order to enter, you're going to have to wait until the end of the video after the results of the drain test to find out how you can enter. I don't want to waste much time on the rules or the tech specs. Most of you guys are pretty used to how we do things around here. But if you'd like to see my prior drain test, I'll attach a video up at the top right so that you can go ahead and get that playlist started. And then that way you can go a little bit more in depth on the technical specifications. It's pretty self-explanatory though, all the same brightness. We don't want to give an iPad a competitive edge over another. Do not disturb on, auto lock disabled, blah, blah, blah. You get the drill. I'm pretty sure you guys are ready for some action. So let's go ahead and roll that intro. So hopefully everyone is well aware of the rules. For those that are veterans to my drain test, welcome back. So glad you could make it for yet another iPad Battle Royale. Hopefully you brought some chips and a nice little drink. And if you're new, welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here. So just to be crystal clear and there is no confusion, we have two all new combatants, being the new iPad Mini 6 and the new iPad 9th generation. But making a surprise return is the iPad 8th gen, which was last drain test champion. I wanted to put up head to head against the new 9th gen iPad to see how they stack up while they fight to the death. All right, same rules as before. I'm throwing up the tail of the tape up to the screen right now. Feel free to pause or screenshot if you want to take a more detailed look at the specifications of each device. One new addition to the all new 10.2 inch is the implementation of True Tone. So now that things are consistent, we will enable True Tone on all of them except the 8th gen, because technically it's there as an extra variable that would normally not be there, but in the name of science, it's up there. Aside from that, intricate detail was placed to ensure that we have as fair a fight as possible, with all the settings being identical on all 6 contestants. And one last favor, pause the video right now and make sure to drop a comment letting everyone know which iPad you think will reign supreme. And here we go, round number 1, and from left to right, very important for those at home to keep track. All the way to the left is a new iPad Mini 6th gen. Then to the right of that, we have our albino iPad 8th gen, followed by the new 9th gen iPad 10.2 inch, then the iPad Air 4th gen in green, followed by the snappy and impressive 11 inch iPad Pro 3rd gen, and finally, all the way to the right, the gargantuan 12.9 inch iPad Pro 5th generation. Alright, round number 1, we start with a quick warm-up. You know the drill. How are you going to show up to the gym and immediately try and best your PR on bench? That wouldn't be too smart now, would it? Same thing here, so our iPads essentially get a warm-up round with a very simple standby test. Throughout the day while using your iPad, you'll inevitably leave your display on longer than needed sometimes while you go grab a snack or, I don't know, drop an atomic bomb in the bathroom. In any case, this entire drain test aims to replicate a variety of use cases to more accurately replicate real-world usage. So after 45 minutes on standby and after each iPad got a reasonable amount of time to stretch, we get the following percentages. Starting from the left with the Mini that only went down 4 points down to 96%. Pretty nice. Followed by our prior champ, the 8th gen iPad with 97%. Followed by its successor, the 9th gen iPad with exactly the same as its brother with 97%. The Air, quite surprisingly, takes the lead early on with 98%, barely breaking a sweat. Followed by the iPad Pro 11 inch with, last place at 95%? And what about the 12.9 inch? The massive iPad outperforms the 11 inch even and comes in at 96%. Unusual results to say the least, but this is what we have, ladies and gents. The Air is in the lead, but as most of you know, that may or may not be the case for long. Now let's crank up the intensity just slightly. The newer iPad mini 6 and 9th gen iPad got some decent improvements to their front and back camera systems that bring tons of welcome improvements. I think taking pictures with the new iPad mini looks way more natural than holding an oven pan. I mean the 12.9 inch iPad. So for 1 hour, we put their money where their mouth is and ran a whole 60 minutes of video recording using the back camera, and at the conclusion, we again find some rather intriguing results. The Mini 6 is faring way better than expected. The Mini 6 comes in with 85%, followed by the 8th gen at 88%. The 9th gen flexes that A13 Bionic chip that is presumed to bring battery efficiency to it and slightly best the 8th gen with 89%, just 1 point better. The Air again completely shocking me. It's still in first place, only tied this time with the 9th gen iPad at 89% as well. Our iPad Pro 11 inch shows that it didn't come here to play and sees an improved drop down to only 86%, followed by the 12.9 inch trailing it ever so slightly with 85%. So, how's your choice holding up so far? Alrighty, moving right along to test 3 of 9. I want to do something different this time. I'm sure many of you travel with your iPads, whether on a plane or on a road trip or maybe even the train, and you may occasionally listen to music with your AirPods or similar Bluetooth Apple headphones like AirPods Pro or the all-new Beats Buds. For this test, we hooked up a pair of Bluetooth headphones to 3 iPads at a time, having them blast music simultaneously for 45 minutes at max volume. Once again, consistency is key, and I made sure to turn off any of the fancy noise cancellation or transparency mode features if they are present on the respective headphones. That way, it's a simple and straightforward test with no external variables. Lately, I've been feeling in a Bad Bunny vibe, but recently also have blasted Slipknot at 110% volume since their concert is coming up soon here in Georgia. Oh, and forgot to mention, we put all these iPads to sleep during this test because realistically, who leaves their display on while listening to music? Okay, so after 45 minutes each for a total of 1 hour and a half later, we arrive with the following figures. The iPad mini 6 now slips down to 82%, while the 8th gen iPad now sits at 85%. Once again, showing a pretty consistent performance as compared to its predecessor, with a 1% lead at 86% is the 9th gen iPad. And shocking the world once again, the Air does the unthinkable and slips into the lead with 87%. I don't know how the budget iPads are feeling right now. Are we possibly going to reign a new champ today? Let's keep examining the rest. The 11-inch Pro still slightly underperforming with a decent 83%, followed by its obese twin matching the 11-inch Pro's performance with the same 83 points. So far, we are roughly 3 hours and 30 minutes into the test. Each iPad is still very healthy, with each one impressively being up above 80%. It's still anyone's race. We now head over to round number 4. This test is my favorite when putting these videos together because it gives me a good time frame to run any errands or chores that I have. I took the opportunity to bounce to the gym, pump some iron, and prepare for the mosh pit, and would you believe that my head-ass cat Bean apparently wanted to be featured in the video so badly, but honestly, damn, looks like she wants to be the star of the damn episode. Actually, before testing, she did knock over the iPads, which was scary, but believe it or not, there was no damage to the iPads, and they were all still just fine. Anyway, about halfway, I decided to shake things up and switch over to Disney Plus and stream Soul, one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. Altogether, after roughly 2.5 hours, our iPads are all starting to look a little rough out there. The iPad mini 6 now sits at slightly under half tank with 49%, followed by the 8th gen iPad at a more respectable 66%. Insane. These 10.2-inch iPads are like tanks. The 9th gen follows a similar performance and also sits at 66%, whereas the Air, I don't know what it was. I think it started too strong and got gassed out because it took a beating this round, dropping to 54%, while the 11-inch Pro is slowly getting a grip on the fight and continues to improve, now in second place at 57%, and finally, the 12.9-inch iPad not far behind at 56%. We now head to the median of our set. Test number 5 is aimed at tapping into the CPU and GPU by playing some games on the iPads. You ever have your annoying younger relative come and ask if you got games on your phone? Word of advice, don't leave your iPads with kids. They will fall in love with the bigger displays and try to run off with your iPad. So for this test, I ran Temple Run 2 looping endlessly for a while and then headed over to Clash Royale and tried to beat the tutorial on all 6 iPads. All I can say is it was no easy task and was hard as f***, and I was literally cracking a sweat. But after roughly 45 minutes of gaming, how are our contestants holding up? Let's start in reverse order with the 12.9-inch that saw a tough time on this test. None of these games are what I would call intensively graphic, but if I had to guess, I'd assume pumping out all those pixels on that gorgeous liquid retina display must take a good bit of battery. It ended at 43% after this test, with its smaller bro, the 11-inch Pro, now sitting at 47%, widening the gap with every test. The Air swings back and does better in this test and is catching up to the 11-inch Pro at 46%. In typical fashion, the 10.2-inch iPads are both tied for the lead again, both coming in at 58%. And finally, the iPad Mini 6, having seen better days, now drops all the way down to 38%, trailing heavily in last place. I don't want to give it too much slack since its battery is the smallest and we also saw a screen size increase. Now is the time to shine. If these iPads want to take the gold, they better give it their all starting now because time is running out. Test number 6 is simple. We have a basic 5-minute video with not much going on filmed on my new iPhone 13 Pro and airdropped the same video to all 6 devices. Then, once the iPads received the video, we headed over to iMovie and did a simple export test with minimal edits. Exporting videos can definitely have a huge impact on battery life, especially when editing complex videos or movies that are much longer in length. Typically, the better the chipset, the faster the export, and thus the more battery saved. Across the board though, all 6 iPads only dropped down 2 points each, weathering this test like if it were a walk in the park. The Mini 6 is now down to 36%, the 8th gen iPad at 56%, the 9th gen matching up also at 56%, the Air is at 44%, the 11-inch Pro at 45%, and finally our 12.9-inch iPad with 41%. And now heading into our championship rounds, round number 7, the multitasking test. This is where things get interesting. This test has been featured before. The goal of this test is to crank up those processors and have several applications running simultaneously all at once. Again, this is a test that benefits iPads with stronger chipsets and mimics real-world usage quite well. How many of you are or have been students recently and you come to find out that these iPads make great multitasking machines while researching or doing homework? You can browse Wikipedia on one half of the screen and have Microsoft Word or the Notes app open to write a research paper or jot down some notes on the other half. That's exactly what we did here with every iPad, doing split screen view with one half being Wikipedia and the other the Notes app, all while also having picture-in-picture with Apple TV playing off to the side all at the same time. We did this for roughly 40 minutes and afterwards we arrive at the following. Once again, our Mini 6 having a tough time catching up, now sinks to under a quarter capacity at 24%. Followed by the 8th gen iPad at 48%. The fact that this iPad literally still has double the battery as the Mini, like the hell is going on here? The 9th gen does one better though and comes in at 49%, whereas the others are starting to get pretty gassed. The Air now falls to 31%, the 11-inch Pro to 35%, and the 12.9-inch at 29%. Wow, after several hours though, nice to see all of these iPads still standing. As we near the end, we now head into our Apple Pencil test, in which I take the Apple Pencil and draw whatever comes to mind on each iPad for exactly 6 minutes each. It's important to note here that the only iPads to still use the 1st gen Apple Pencil are the 8th and 9th gen iPad 10.2-inch. All the others now use the newer 2nd gen Apple Pencil. Alright, ladies and gents, it's coming down to the wire. It's still way too early to call. This is getting intense. After this round of testing, we can now see we have a couple of iPads now officially in the red. One of those being the 12.9-inch iPad coming in at 19%. The 11-inch Pro still trying its very hardest and is showing every ounce of heart, coming in at 28%. The Air now slips to a quarter capacity, not far behind from the 11-inch Pro, and the 9th gen iPad slips in and takes the slight lead, barely ahead of its younger brother, the 8th gen iPad, with 42%, and the white bezeled 8th gen at 41%. The race between these two has been close from the start. They're neck and neck, and as expected, our little miniature iPad still remains in last place, now down to its final moments at 17%. And now, to round things out, we head over to the infamous YouTube test. YouTube is well known for being a huge battery leech, especially on the older devices. Luckily, all of these iPads in the tech pit are all pretty new. For our final test, we had to change the lighting to the obligatory frenetic red for dramatic effect because it's on. All 6 iPads so far have shown tremendous heart and have all put on a show. We head over to my favorite tech channel on all of YouTube. That's right, TheJuan&Only, and crank one of my playlists so that these iPads can run on autoplay while I try and sneak in a nap. This is going to come down to the wire, as this is where things culminate to our grand finale. As expected, with all iPads still being a competitive risk to one another, I knew this round was going to be good. Slowly, with each passing minute, the battery of each diminishes and diminishes. Will we have the same 10.2-inch line take the crown, or will we have a new champion? As anyone could probably have guessed though, our first loser, the iPad mini 6, threw in the towel at roughly 10 hours and 5 minutes, officially making the iPad mini 6 come in last place. After that, a total shocker. I don't know what happened here. The Air, before the beginning of the YouTube test, was in 4th place, but somehow must have taken a straight uppercut to the chin or something, as it gets knocked out earlier than expected, officially coming in 5th place, with it calling it quits at roughly 10 hours and 48 minutes. Lots of volatility going on with the iPad Air. I don't know what kind of sorcery the 12.9 is doing, but it certainly had a game plan and had something up its sleeve. Sadly, it too met its fate shortly after, coming in officially in 4th place with a time of 11 hours flat. Ladies and gents, give it up for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And then there were 3. Which one are you rooting for? We have the 8th gen iPad, the 9th gen iPad, and the 11-inch Pro still standing, each evidently coming well prepared for a fight. I'd like to see the 11-inch Pro one day capture the gold, as the 11-inch is my personal favorite of the entire iPad line. Unfortunately though, for quite some episodes now, the 11-inch Pro once again falls short, coming in 3rd place with a pretty respectable time of 11 hours and 23 minutes, officially making the iPad 10.2-inch line our big winners, and decisively at that. It was fun to see these two go head to head, and it wasn't until a whole 110 minutes later, almost a whole 2 hours, insane, the iPad 8th gen taps out and says goodbye at a mad respectable 13 hours and 13 minutes, which means, ladies and gents, and still our reigning, defending iPad battery champ, boys and girls, let's give it up for the spectacular performance the 9th gen gave us, as it finally decided to stop showing off at 13 hours and 26 minutes. Wow, what an impressive performance by our winner, but also huge shout out to each and every contestant, as each iPad did very well, and it was a pretty tight race coming up until the end. This was honestly what I expected though. I mean, if the A12 10.2-inch 8th gen iPad won against the all-new M1 chips in the previous test, it's pretty logical that a better A13 10.2-inch 9th gen should once again crush the competition, and it played out exactly like how I hypothesized. Guys, I sincerely hope you guys have as much fun watching these videos as much as I love putting them together. These videos take countless hours of preparation, several hours filming the actual test, and days of post-production. At the very least, consider dropping a like to help feed the algorithm into pushing this video to more eyes. I know these tests are very helpful to those wanting the best bang for your buck, and in terms of battery life, the 9th gen iPad gives you a spectacular dollar to battery life ratio. It's so great that it's the cheapest iPad and also the one with the longest battery. And before I go, the giveaway. I know you guys are super hyped to have a chance at snagging an all-new iPad mini 6 Wi-Fi model with the base storage and your choice of color. To enter the giveaway, just make sure you follow these simple next steps. Number 1, destroy that subscribe button and ring the bell so that you never miss out on any of my videos or community posts. Number 2, make sure to give me a follow on any or all of my socials. I'll be announcing the winners on all of my social media channels on Black Friday here in the States, which happens to be Friday, November 26th, and the winner will be announced via a live stream. That way you all get to see me choose one random winner live. And the final step, and most importantly, Drop a comment down below telling me which iPad within Apple's iPad line you own, and if you don't own one, let me know which one is on your wish list. We have arrived to the conclusion of yet another battery drain test. We still have to do a drain test on the entire iPhone 13 line, so stay tuned for that, and I'm also trying to sort out the logistics on my first ever Apple Watch battery drain test. As always, stay tuned for all the best coverage on all of your favorite tech. Good luck to all of those who enter the giveaway, and I cannot wait to see you all on November 26th on a live stream, time to be announced. Alright guys, clocking out now. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be catching you on the next one.